Back on Big Ten today and Saturday, spring football is here. Noon Eastern, you can see the Boilermakers in action at Ross-Ade. Then at 2, the Nittany Lions taking the field for their blue-white game. It's all Saturday, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Purdue coach Ryan Walters joins me now. It is today's big interview, sneak preview of what we'll see from Purdue. Coach, first of all, format-wise, I know different schools have different ways of approaching this. What should Purdue fans expect on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal is to remain healthy, right? And so, we're trying to give the fans sort of what they want, get the experience and the things we need from a football standpoint done, but also want to remain healthy. And so, the one offense and the 2 defense will be on the same team. The 2 offense and the 1 defense will be on the same team. So that way the 1s are playing against the 1s, the 2s are playing against the 2s on offense and defense. When the 1s are out there, it'll be, everybody's in full pads, it's full speed. But when it comes to the ball carrier, we call it punch tempo. It's basically where you're, palms down, tagging on the hip to signify that the ball carrier is down. But when the 2s are out there, they'll mix it up and we'll go live. It'll be 4 quarters. We'll keep score. If there's a 3rd and 1 scenario or a goal to goal from the 1 yard line, that'll be an automatic first down or automatic touchdown. So we don't create any, downhill collisions from that standpoint. If there's a punt scenario, we'll take like the NCAA average a punt and just flip the field. And if somebody scores, we'll just flip the field and start from the -25.
Let's start. Sounds great. Sounds like we're going to see some actual football, which should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
You've been practicing, obviously, for weeks now, so you have a pretty good sense of your team. But still, it's different when you get into scrimmage situations. What are you most interested in seeing on Saturday?
Yeah, I want to see clean communication, see the fundamentals and the techniques that we've been teaching carry over to live situations. I just think it is going to be good to get some guys some experience playing in Ross-Ade in front of a crowd that either didn't play a whole lot last year or that we added, new at the spring semester. We had 27 new incomers in January, and so to get those guys just a feel for what it's like in Ross-Ade and sort of mimic or fabricate some game-like scenarios and game-like situations, I think will be good for us.
You mentioned the newcomers. Obviously, some of those are early enrollees, but you also went really heavy into the portal, which I think is to be expected, certainly in this day and age. Everyone's going heavy into the portal, but also you're going into your second year. You're figuring out what you need in your program. There's been a lot of buzz about some of the portal additions. I want you to tell me about Nyan Green, because it feels like he's the guy maybe who's created the most buzz.
Yeah, Nyan, you look at a guy who's long, he's athletic, he's got great hips to be that tall. He's fast, he's physical, he's got high football IQ. You see sort of why he was the number 2 corner coming out his high school recruiting class. But the thing I think I've been the most impressed with him specifically is just the way he's came in, put his head down and gone to work. He's a no ego guy. He's one of the locker room favorites. And I'm happy as heck that he's here.
As you look back on year 1, Coach, I know you're not happy with the record at 4-8, but what are you proudest of in terms of what you accomplished?
I think the thing I'm most proud of is just, if you look at today and you rewind back to a year ago where we are today, just the growth within the program. We obviously 4-8, nobody wants to go through that. But you look at all the departments around the football team: academics, recruiting, strength and conditioning, the training room, the nutrition, like all those things have improved. Our collective has improved, and because our collective has improved, our locker room has improved. And so, I'm just proud of the continuity that we've had from a roster and a staff standpoint, the way they've worked throughout the course of this year. And where we are in comparison to where we were a year ago, on April 11th. So that's what I'm proud of most.
Coach, it's interesting. I think back to our campus visit with you last year, and we always have preconceptions when a new coach takes over. And I know when Jerry and Howard and I were there, we were talking about Well, you've got this air raid offense that you've installed. They're going to chuck it all over the place. Hudson Card had an unbelievable day, the day that we were there. And yet you look back at the end of the year and you guys ended up leading the Big Ten in rushing yards per game in conference play. So maybe a little bit different than we expected. How did the offense in year one compare with what you expected?
If you're in the building every day, like you see the adversities and the challenges that we had to face. We were beat up front all year. Hudson was banged up from week 4 to the end of the season. Lost some of our starting wide receivers. Lost our starting tight end. So they faced a lot of challenges. So they had to. What I was proud of with them is they had to adapt and adjust to what our roster could handle and what they could do. And so you look up and, like you said, you got an air raid offensive coordinator, and he has back-to-back 300-yard rushing games on offense. That speaks to our ability to be creative and be innovative and find ways to move the ball. And so I think that is only going to be beneficial for us moving forward because he still knows how to dial up some concepts in the pass game. He's still got a quarterback that can throw it, and we got a bunch of wideouts that can stretch the field and have really good hands. And so I'm excited for that side of the ball come this season.
Tell me a little bit about what's up with Hudson. As you mentioned, he was injured much of last year, actually ended up sitting out one of your games down the stretch. Where is he in terms of his health and the progress that he's made?
Yeah, obviously he's healthy. He played last year at about 190 pounds. I think he's hovering right around 210 right now. So really is taking care of his body from a nutrition standpoint, and Kiero Small and his strength staff have done a great job with him in gaining the right type of weight. I think the thing that I've seen most growth with him is just his leadership, his command of the locker room, command of the huddle, and being comfortable in his environment. And that's to be expected. Last year was his first year as a full-time starter, so he had to go through some growing pains, had gained some experience. But now he's comfortable, he's confident, and I'm glad he's our quarterback.
Your forte, obviously, as an assistant coach, was defense. You came over from Illinois. You had the best defense in the country, arguably, the year before. Where do you think your Purdue defense is going to make the biggest strides from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, you look at last year, it was feast or famine, right? Our havoc plays were high in terms of sacks and TFLs, but we gave up more explosive plays than I've given up in my career. And that led to a lot of points. And so, we've gotten deeper at positions that we needed to get deeper. I feel like we've got guys on the roster that fit the scheme and just have a better understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished from a schematic standpoint. You look at year 1 to year 2 as the defense coordinator at Illinois, our defense got a lot better in that year, and I anticipate that trend continue here at Purdue this season.
I saw that you moved Cajun Jenkins to middle linebacker. Tell me a little bit about the logic behind that move and what it's done for your defense.
Yeah, I think, KJ, I wanted to do what was best for him individually. You look at the position he played a year ago, obviously was ultra productive. I think he had 8 sacks. He had a bunch of TFLs. And was an all-conference type player because of it. But KJ is 6 foot and 250 pounds, and so you look at the next level, he becomes a small rush end. And for us to keep him, if I'm his dad, I'm saying, KJ, if you're playing rush end, you probably should declare for the NFL because the things that they're going to question are your height and your weight, and those things aren't changing. Like you're as productive as you're going to be. But if we can take him from the edge and move him inside, now he's not small. He's actually a big guy. 6 foot 250 Mike linebacker. That's a load, and he can move and he's versatile. And so the ability to have him play off the ball, and then we get in the third downs or passing situations to still go rush the passer. I think his versatility will add value in terms of the next level.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to ask you a little bit about the success the basketball team had. It's obviously been an incredible last few weeks here for Purdue. What does that success mean for the football program and for the athletic department as a whole?
It's huge. To watch those guys go to work the way they did, watch the community support the program the way it did, and just the excitement, the continuity, and really the inspiration from that season. It shows you what this place is capable of from an athletic standpoint. And so I think a lot of times you have to see things to know what is possible, especially when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. And so for them to be able to see in a sports team from Purdue University go on and play in a national championship, it shows you what this place is capable of when you believe it and when you go about things the right way. And so that has set the standard of what is possible and what is capable of at Purdue.
Who is the Purdue basketball player you'd be most intrigued by as a football player?
There's a couple, man. Obviously Zach Edey would make a great tight end or left tackle or rushing end. Somebody that's that big and that athletic. Mason Gillis, I think, would make a heck of a, either a tight end or wide out. So those two guys. But like Miles Colvin is athletic and can jump out the gym, so I'm sure he could be able to go catch a couple jump balls. Same with Cam Heide.
I would like to see Zach at left tackle. I think we need to figure out a way to make that happen. I think he's doing just fine where he's at. He's doing just fine. Yeah, you have a good point there. It's worked out fairly well for him, this whole basketball thing. Ryan Walters, really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing the Boilers on the field here in a couple of days, and best of luck, obviously, going forward. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. You guys take care.